AITA for refusing to stay home with the kids while my husband attends my brother's wedding? I'm a stam and my husband works full-time. We have 3 kids and one of them is 2 years old. My husband helps a lot with the kids. He's a committed dad but is absolutely against babysitters due to an awful incident with a babysitter that was the reason his younger male cousin James got disabled years ago. I don't go out much since I have to take the kids with me and not every place is suitable for kids. We received an invitation for my brother's, who has been my husband's friend since college, wedding, which we later discovered was child-free. My brother lives states away, so the entire trip will take 4 days, as well as my brother's in-laws' weekend dinner party. Their tradition. I told my husband I want to go since it's been a while since I've been to a wedding and this one is special, and suggested we get a trusted friend as a babysitter. He asked if I was serious to consider leaving our 2-year-old with a babysitter and suggested that I do what I normally do and stay home with the kids while he goes to the wedding. I refused and said I have as much right to attend as him since we both were invited. He said it wasn't his fault my brother wants a child-free wedding and I should do this for the kids and sacrifice for their sake. I still refused and said this was unfair, and since he's a parent too, then he should also stay for the kids. He looked at me and said, "That's my best friend's wedding you're asking me to skip for Christ's sake. Are you kidding me?" Then said I was being petty for suggesting this and that I was basically choosing to go and party over keeping our kids safe. He asked me to consider this a business trip. What would I do? Go with him and leave the kids? I said I understand his paranoia of babysitters, but really all my friends have sitters and at times they're really needed. He said I ought to know better than what my friends tell me, and this wasn't even up for discussion. And when I kept arguing, he called me selfish and said he won't let me ruin his relationship with his friend because I was being spiteful for not being able to attend, and that my brother'll understand my situation. He keeps asking who's more important, a wedding party or my kids, and said I was unreasonable for making my attendance the hill to die on. AITA? Am I being selfish for wanting to attend this wedding? My brother's wedding after 4 years not attending anything? NTA. If he's the one against a babysitter, then he should be the one who stays at home. Your relationship seems very one-sided and you shouldn't stop yourself going out. Tell him to try another babysitter or he stays at home while you go out. Also, he says it's his best friend's wedding. It's your brother, FFS. NTA. It's your brother's wedding. Yes. It's his friend. But it is your brother. It seems ridiculous here that he feels he has more right to go to this wedding. Flip every argument back on him. He's choosing partying over his own kids. He's asking you to skip for Christ's sake. What's more important, a wedding party or his kids? His paranoia over babysitters is also extreme. I get being nervous leaving your kid with someone else. But if it's a friend that you know well, and that person knows your kids and your kids are comfortable with them, then that should be okay. A 4-night stay for the kids with a sitter would be a very big first step. So if you have time, then you could start with smaller steps. But your husband is being absolutely ridiculous here. Edit, typo. NTA. This is insane. It's your brother and somehow your husband thinks he is the one who should get to go, when he's the whole reason you can't both go because of his unreasonable paranoia about hiring a babysitter. Honestly, if I was you, I'd be absolutely prepared to die on this hill. He's got away with holding you hostage to this nonsense for years. There is not one single logical reason why he should be allowed to attend rather than you. And if he was prepared to work on his own emotional baggage, then you could just hire a sitter like any other couple would do in this scenario. This is 1,000,000,000% on him. If anyone stays home with the kids, it should be him. NTA. This is your brother's wedding. If anyone has precedence, it would be you. He should stay home with the kids if he doesn't like babysitters. You're not selfish at all. But I have never met a man who is so entitled to think they have the right instead of the actual family. WTF. NTA. No. Just no. He sees you as selfish for wanting to attend your brother's wedding. And he sees himself as not selfish for wanting to attend his best friend's wedding. He's decided that you are ta because you want the same thing he wants? TF? Then said I was being petty for suggesting this and that I was basically choosing to go and party over keeping our kids safe. And WTF is he doing? The exact same thing? When I kept arguing standing up for myself, he called me selfish and said he won't let me ruin his relationship with his friend. But it's okay to ruin your relationship with your brother. By his logic? Because I was being spiteful. And he's not? For not being able to attend, and that my brother'll understand my situation. But your brother will be incapable of understanding his brother-in-law's situation, which is the exact same as yours. Quote. He keeps asking who's more important, a wedding party or my kids, and said I was unreasonable for making my attendance the hill to die on. But his attendance isn't triggering this same exact reasoning? What the fucky rubber ducky? Holy hell. There's a lot to unpack here. Lady. Did he wear a suit made of red flags when you got married? Anyways, it's a 4-day wedding excursion. So after trudging through a field of red, here goes. 1. Call your brother and ask if they can make a child-free exception given your unique circumstances. No is an answer, but it doesn't hurt to ask. 2. If no, all of you pack up and go to a hotel. You trade off watching the kids at the hotel. Maybe he goes to the wedding. You go to the reception. He goes to the in-law dinner. You go to something else. Whatever. 3. When you get home, figure out how you can get money and not be financially dependent on this man. Just in case. NTA. Your husband is unhinged. NTA. And also wow. I mean wow. I am going to really plead with you here to take a hard look at your marriage through some different eyes. Abuse is not always physical and not always name-calling. It isn't always obvious. Abuse can be subtle and insidious, and it can sound reasonable on the surface, which makes it so much harder to see when you were in it. Reading your post made my anxiety go through the roof because it felt so familiar to a relationship I was in. I didn't see all the layers of manipulation and control until I was on the outside. Please stop and really look at your relationship. Talk to someone outside of it. A professional if you can. Your husband isn't terrified of an accident. He likes the control over you he has with the kids. I hope you see that. NTA. NTA. Your husband is truly bizarre. You cannot reasonably say to someone, Christ's sake, are you kidding me? When they suggest you skip the wedding of your best friend. If that person is your brother. That's some whole logic right there. Edited. Info. Who is the groom's best man? Because whoever it is, that man is your brother's best friend? I'd have to have one hell of a close relationship with my brother's wife for him to miss my wedding. To make room for his wife, she would have for sure been the maid of honor. Info. Are you saying that you can't go anywhere at all, without your children? You can't leave the kids with him for a weekend and spend some time with family or friends? You can't go on a girls' night out? You can't go shopping? You can't go to your fricking brother's wedding? Because none of this sounds healthy in the slightest. NTA. Flip it. He's saying his mate's wedding is more important than his kids, since he won't stay home with them so you can go to your brother's wedding. NTA. And honestly, your husband sounds borderline abusive. He doesn't want you to attend your own brother's wedding? And tried to guilt you into not going? Please read some of these signs and see if this resonates with you. What are the warning signs of an abuser? Red flags and warning signs of an abuser include, but are not limited to, extreme jealousy, possessiveness, unpredictability, a bad temper, cruelty to animals, verbal abuse, extremely controlling behavior, antiquated beliefs about roles of women and men in relationships, forced sex or disregard of their partner's unwillingness to have sex, sabotage of birth control methods or refusal to honor agreed-upon methods, blaming the victim for anything bad that happens, sabotage or obstruction of the victim's ability to work or attend school, controls all the finances, abuse of other family members, children or pets, accusations of the victim flirting with others or having an affair, control of what the victim wears and how they act, demeaning the victim either privately or publicly, embarrassment or humiliation of the victim in front of others, harassment of the victim at work. For anonymous, confidential help available 24/7. Call the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-7233. SAFE. Or 1-800-787-3224. TTY. Now. https ncadv.org/signs-of-abuse. ETA. Thanks for the awards. I have been in a similar situation before and it was very hard for me to admit it was abusive. Because people like me didn't get into abusive relationships. It wasn't just the abuse. It was feeling shame that I had let myself be abused. I hope OP is able to find the strength to activate her support network and do what's right for herself and her children. NTA. If one parent has to stay with the kids, it's the one that's not related to the bride or groom. Also, your spouse is being highly NTA. It may be his friend, but that's your brother, your family. His control over you is abusive. If he doesn't want to get a sitter, then that's his problem and he should stay with the kids. He either needs to get into therapy ASAP or you need to talk to a divorce attorney because he's literally keeping you prisoner in your own home because of his paranoia. I have a hard time to believe your husband is a good dad. Every single sentence from him smells like entitlement and selfishness. If you can't go to your brother's wedding, so can't he? Why doesn't he stay at home and you attend? Since this never came to his mind, he thinks less of you and your needs. You are the servant for the children, not his wife, who is on the same level. This wedding shows you what kind of person your husband is and what he thinks of you. NTA. NTA. What the fuck is wrong with your husband? Info. You say he helps a lot with the kids. But that's not matched by what you describe of his attitude. How often has he taken care of the kids while you went out to do something on your own? NTA. This is a hill I would die on. You're the only one being asked to make sacrifices. Make your arrangements to go to the wedding. He can stay home or deal with a trusted babysitter. Your husband has a very serious problem and he has an obligation to get help because he's punishing you for his problems. NTA. Did you point out his best friend is also your blood-related brother? Like, this one seems like the one time he should be letting you go and attend something if he really Doesn't want a sitter watching your child. Ren. Wowzer. Is your husband always so selfish? Your NTA. As he has an issue with getting a babysitter and it's your brother that is getting married. He should stay home to look after the kids whilst you attend your family function.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. AmITheAsshole is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.